Good morning, good people, fellow humans. And when we say humans, we mean what? We mean colorful nuts. Right, Huemonds, colorful nuts. What not a bevy, buenos dias. I will be on podcast as long as I am able. I'm at the JAGS training. Okay, cool. Not sure what that means, but that's great. The Jaguars, is that what you mean? The Jaguars? Jaguar? What was that Will Ferrell thing? Jaguar. Okay. Well, here we are. It is Saturday, July 19th. Wow. Today plus almost 10 days in the month, and we're into August. Wow. Crazy. Well, this is Department of Career Services G.school, where our goal is to help our students and interested people navigate through life or experience the journey with the fundamental belief that we are spirit. We have a soul that continues after death, that we are not atoms in the void, that we're not like the lawnmower that once the engine goes out or the light bulb filament breaks and it's over. No, we believe that we have a soul that transcends, continues the path we were on. So if you're on Mother Teresa's path, you continue. If you're on Hitler's path, you continue into the lake of fire, etc. So we're here to help our students and interested people navigate through this life based upon the belief that Jesus was who he said he was, that the resurrection was true. Right, the resurrection was true. The Shroud of Turin is the burial cloth of Jesus. The Soldarium of Oviedo is the face cover, and that Jesus came to teach people how to teach them about the kingdom of heaven and how to become one with the Father and Jesus, how to avoid the lake of fire, etc. How to avoid becoming just pure random energy. Once they've shed this mortal coil, as Hamlet might say. Monday through Friday, we focus on the three legs of the table: the physical, mental, and emotional gifts that we have, the gift of having a body that is unlike any other body for an animal on this earth, that we can do things that no other animal can do, even though we are not as strong or some of the other things that animals can do. No animal can do what our body can do. Next, we have a brain that is the most complex thing in the universe, other than the universe, way more complex than any other brain. And we have emotions that are extremely powerful emotions that we have the opportunity to, we need to control them, like our brain, like our body. And with those emotions, we can do incredible, fantastic things. So, yeah. So that's Monday through Friday, the physical, mental, and emotional. Saturday and Sunday is G.school. It's the spiritual side. It's what's it all about, Alfie. So how's the weather? It's loud in this room, so I can't hear you. You can't hear me? Okay, good. Well, um, today is Seventh-day Adventist Day. And it's sort of like LDS. If you can separate the doctrine from the people there are good, devout people, people who are doing what they understand Jesus wanted them to do. Like LDS people today, family orientation at the top, not surpassed, collectively not surpassed. The history, the gold plates, knee high in the desert, Angel Moroni, gold tablets, warring Indian tribes, Jesus coming to the Americas, not supported by any real evidence. However, it makes for a good foundation. And my hunch is Joseph Smith never thought there would be satellites that could take pictures of the whole Earth and find that you can't find the tribes. So, Seventh-day Adventist, same thing. Helen White. But if you separate some of her beliefs, especially the anti-Catholic stuff, the anti-Jesuit stuff, if you separate that out and focus on the people and what they're doing, really good. Now, if you are focused on the Christian Chicken Little, as Pastor Roth described them, that there's a Jesuit behind every podium, etc. If that is your orientation, Daniel and Revelation, not Jesus, then you're going to go sideways. Anyway, I don't know what the point of that was, but today is Seventh-day Adventist, 10:30. Anybody who wants to go can go. See who the players are. See who the ones are that are interested. Next. Okay. What is our theme of today? The theme of today is heroic suffering. Right. We're going to talk about Viktor Frankl once again. Before we do it, let's look at the advice from an 80-year-old. Become the most positive and enthusiastic person you know. See, that would be a great thing, sort of like LDS or our Seventh-day Adventist friends, where put the doctrine aside, put the dogma aside, just become the most positive and enthusiastic person you know. TED Talk is the gray, heroic suffering. Viktor Frankl, once again. Finding the difficult, Seth Godin, Finding the Difficult Work. Let's see what that's all about. Finding the difficult work. It's tempting to seek out the easy gigs and the straightforward projects. But of course, if they're the easy ones, there's probably quite a few people eager to do them. So your ability to add unique value goes down. The alternative is to find and focus on the projects that take insight, guts, and a tolerance for risk. The projects that involve significant human connection and effort. When new technology shows up, some people ask, how can this make our job easier? But what happens if we ask, how can I use this to do something really hard? How can I use this to do something really hard? Yeah, there you go. All righty then. So advice from an 80-year-old, TED Talk is the gray. We're going to talk about that next. Seth Godin, just talked about that. Daniel Amen, road rage. All right, heroic suffering. What is that? Well, it's pretty much what you say. It's suffering well. How about that? Suffering maybe for the benefit of others. Suffering, when you choose the really hard part, the hard path instead of the easy one. Because especially if you're trying to make the lives of other people better. So let's break it down. Day 6, week 1. This is day 6, week 1 in our neuroscience-oriented approach to success. What Not a Baby, you still there? Okay, get yours on Amazon today. Right. Okay, so this talk, Viktor Frankl, okay, so this is based upon the movie The Gray, starring Liam Neeson, where Liam Neeson, the hero, the star of the movie, is a guy who works for probably an oil company in Alaska, someplace really cold. And his job is to kill wolves that could attack the people. So he's a hunter to protect him. And the movie starts with him getting ready to blow his brains out with his rifle. And then I believe you hear a wolf howl, and it disrupts him from that. And the next day they get on a plane. He and the guy is going for a break. They get on a plane, except we learn that his wife or his love had died of cancer. So he hates his job, doesn't like his job, has no one in his life. Life is just painful. G to G, love you, Burke. Plane crashes, bunch of survivors. They're trying to walk someplace. They stumble upon a wolf's den, and now the wolves start chasing them, picking them off one at a time. And this is kind of a, what do they call that? It's not a metaphor. It's not an analogy. It starts with an A. Allegory. Maybe it's an allegory. Where having to do with Viktor Frankl, people in the concentration camps. But ultimately, the wolves are going to get you one at a time. It's just how long you last. So the guys are getting picked off by the wolves. They're trying to survive, trying to fight them. Liam Neeson is the last one left. So the last one left is the guy who didn't care about his life. The people who had something to look forward to, the Nietzsche, he who has a why can bear almost any how. If I have a reason why to live, I can deal with the how things are. So Liam Neeson didn't care about living, was going to kill himself, but now it turns out he's the last guy left. And he's sort of the leader of these people, probably because he was the hunter, knew the most about wolves. He's the last guy left, and he's going through all of these stages. And at one point he pleads to God, if you're real, show me something. Begging, pleading, and nothing, of course, happens. And then he says the Father Joe Riley prayer, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And he continues on relentlessly being pursued by the wolf till ultimately he has the showdown with the wolf. And the movie ends just as they're about to go after one another. For Viktor Frankl, though, this is the big one. This is man's search for meaning. And you could say through the movie, they're searching for meaning in their lives. What the heck is going on? One guy dies, and as he's dying, you find out what the purpose, the meaning in his life was his young daughter, that he wanted to get back to her. And that's what kept him going. Another guy gave up, was like, I don't want to go on. I'll just wait here for the wolves to kill me. Liam Neeson keeps fighting on to the point. And so the question about heroic suffering, and especially in the movie, is What is it that causes someone who has nothing to live for, has no reason? What is it that gets somebody to keep going even though there's no reason to? In this way, in other words, it's futile. And he talks a little bit about the concentration camps where there was no expectation of ever coming out alive. So why would you try to stay alive? And ultimately, it turns out that you have a reason, you find a reason that you need to survive. But in this movie, Viktor Frankl talks about at this point, when you keep going, when you have nothing to go forward for, like the movie The Revenant, like the movie with Tom Hanks, Castaway, like that. You have guys that have nothing, no reason, nothing to live for. The guy's son is dead. This other guy's on a deserted island. There's no reason to go, but they keep wanting to survive. And Viktor Frankl says that is the height of human achievement. And when we can't change our circumstances, we're forced to change ourselves. And that's the uniquely human trait, that when we find where we can't change our situation, we're forced to change ourselves. So, really good one. Okay, how do we apply that in our lives? That's the question. So there's the question. There's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come puzzles the will. Yeah, kind of like Hamlet's soliloquy. Why do we keep going in this life when with a bare bodkin? Who would Fartles bear but to grunt and sweat under a weary life? Okay, well, the dread of something after death. The undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those things we know than to fly off to others we know not. Okay. How do we apply heroic suffering in our life? Man's search for meaning. We don't ask life, what is the meaning of life? Life asks us, what is the meaning of your life? So now we've got about 2 minutes to tie this in. Viktor Frankl almost had it. I said this yesterday morning. He almost got it there. He didn't accept Jesus as the creator incarnate who came down to teach us about the kingdom of God and how to become one with God, the creator. If he had, instead of saying life is a search for meaning, it would be the purpose of life is to honor the gifts that we've been given, thus honoring the creator, the giver of the gifts, and do as the creator says. And you can have heroic suffering in loving your neighbor as yourself. In fact, in John 15:13, Jesus said, be willing to give up one's life for that, because you don't need to worry about it. So Viktor Frankl's point was the search for meaning had to do with beauty or things like that, as opposed to just do what Jesus commanded. That's all he asks us to do. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Love one another as Jesus loved us. That's 15:12, John 15:12, and make disciples of all people, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and teaching them the commandments that Jesus taught us. So what would the world be like if everybody just focused on those three things instead of justifying hurting people because it's just the rules of the game and the rat race in the world of men and machines? Okay, we're out of time. Thank you all for being there, and cut, shivas and shalom, scotch and peace, cut.